live with the vegan sheepdog. What you making?
We're going to cook some veggies and some Beyond Burgers today. Make everybody happy. We're going to put some asparagus on the grill to start with.
Oh, wow. Let's see that asparagus before you throw it on the grill. Whoa. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you.
And we're also going to put some red and purple potatoes right on the grill.
Love it.
We got to start those first, so that way they cook up well. They take a little longer than the Beyond Burgers. We also have some onions, mushrooms, and zucchini we're going to throw on here in a few minutes, but we got to give these things a good start first.
I love it. Now, where are you? You look like you're indoors with a grill.
So I'm in my garage. So this is where we keep our 36-inch Blackstone griddle. And this is probably one of the best things we've ever bought for food. It's easy to prep all of this stuff. It's easy to throw it on the grill and to feed as many people as want to come over.
I love it. You're watching the vegan sheepdog. What are you putting on?
So we'll start with a little salt and pepper for a little seasoning. One of the other things we like to do, we like to add a little, this is Weber's roasted garlic and herb, which we'll also add to this as well. We like to, people say vegan food is boring. They're not doing it right. Season your food to taste however you prefer it, and I promise it'll be enjoyable for everybody.
I love your attitude, dude.
So we can feed, so we have a house full. We have 7 kids. When they're all over, I can feed probably 15 to 20 people on this griddle at one time. Plenty of space to put anything you want on here. We'll put Beyond Burgers on here in a few minutes. We've got to give the potatoes and asparagus a little head start.
All right. What's next?
So what's next? Once we get these going a little bit, we'll put mushrooms and onions and zucchini on, which will always add additional flavor to anything you're cooking. So we've got a bowl of mushrooms, onions, and zucchini ready to go as well. Just got to give these potatoes and asparagus a few minutes. Definitely one of our favorites to share with people. It's quick and easy. If they don't like asparagus, they don't have to put the asparagus on. Once I do my bowls, it's simple enough that someone can either make a burger, or one of the things my wife and I love to do, we will take that burger, we'll chop it up and put it inside of our bowl, and then mix all the veggies in it. Throw some Frank's Red Hot on it, and some coconut aminos. Absolutely love it. Probably one of our favorites. One of the cool things about that, when I do this meal for our family, I usually have leftovers for lunch the next day or the day after. So it's nice to be able to have plenty of veggies, plenty of things left over, and you never go home hungry.
So give us a recap. What exactly have you added to the grill thus far?
So right now, all we have on the grill, we have some red and purple potatoes. Sometimes my wife will use the yellow gold potatoes, chop those up, throw those on the grill first, and asparagus. We put a little salt and pepper and some garlic and herb seasoning on those. Since they take the longest time, we got to throw those on the grill first in order to make sure that they are cooked thoroughly. But with a griddle this size, you can fill this with as much as you like. Our favorite is mushrooms and onions and asparagus. We'll put Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, and just fill this grill up. Grill it all, salt, season it however we like, and put whatever dressing or flavoring you want on after it, and it's absolutely delicious.
Now, I noticed you haven't said oil yet. Are you oil free, or are you going to put oil in there?
There will be no oil in this meal. So I know some people stay away from oil completely. We don't, but in this meal, it doesn't require any oil on the griddle. So this is a Blackstone 36-inch griddle. Once you get this seasoned, it doesn't need any oil on it. So the more you use it, the better you get it seasoned. It doesn't require putting oil on here, which I know a lot of people try to stay away from because of its unfortunately unhealthy effects for a lot of people.
Well, it's just fattening, and the veggies are nutrient dense, low calorie. And so that's what we aim for. And that's why a plant-based diet is fantastic. So in this moment, while we're waiting, tell us your vegan journey. I understand you're a former hunter.
So I grew up hunting and fishing my whole life. My wife and I, our first date was at a dairy farm here just outside of Dayton, Ohio, called Young's Jersey Dairy. I remember on this date, we specifically talked about this. She said she could easily be vegetarian, but she could never be vegan because she loved cheese. And one of the things we ate on that date were cheese curds. So it kind of, starting out, we both never thought about it, never imagined it. And then she fell in love with a cow. But she didn't know how to tell me that she had made a decision to stop eating animals. Once she made that decision, she had to figure out how to tell me because she didn't know how I was going to react. So that's hard for me, being that I left my wife in that situation. But she finally gained up enough courage to call me at work. She called me first thing in the morning and said, "Hey, I'm done eating meat. I love you." Click. She hung up on me. So that's how our story stared. And
how romantic.
From there, yeah, it was magic, right? So I had a choice to decide to I could either support her or, be a crude human being and not do so. And I decided to support her at home, but on my own, I was still going to do whatever I want, eat whatever or whoever I wanted, and not care about those things. So thankfully, we ended up visiting a sanctuary where I connected with a cow. And putting my hands on this cow, I realized that this is a sentient being with, energy just like my dog. And there's no reason that I would, harm my dog or harm other dogs. So why would I continue to harm cows, pigs, chickens, or anything else? So at that point, that was about a month after she had told me she was done eating meat. And that was the last time we had meat. From then, we started to educate ourselves and learn more about the dairy industry. So we went vegetarian for about a year and a half. And then as we educated ourselves on what happens in the dairy industry and how cruel that can be, we realized, you know what, we can't support that either. We can't support the egg industry. And so in January 13th of 2018, we went vegan and never looked back.
What a fabulous story, and what a romantic story in a lot of ways. You're the dream husband for so many plant-based women. Why do you think you as a former hunter are able to make that leap when so many others who you'd think on the surface would be more amenable can't?
Listen, it's not hard to make that connection. Once you see an animal for being a sentient being, that they can suffer, that they feel, that they enjoy, that they play, they want their family, they want to be fed, they want shelter, they want to be taken care of. Once you realize that, especially if you consider yourself an animal lover or a dog lover, once you make that connection, it's really not hard to extend that to the rest of the animals. For me, it wasn't hard once I made that decision. To support my wife and then, start trying this for myself. It was not a difficult decision at all. I know there are lots of people out there who are closed-minded. I think part of the problem is for so long that we have to eat meat, we have to eat dairy, we have to eat eggs in order to be healthy and to survive, to be big and strong, and that's not the case. It turns out that's actually all completely backwards from the scientific standpoint.
We've got a lot of questions coming in. Gene says, if this is live, which it is, ask him about the name Sheepdog. Where'd you get that name?
So Sheepdog, it's kind of always been my mentality. I've always been one to protect those who are in danger or less fortunate than myself. So I've always been one to protect my friends, protect my family. And for this, obviously vegan came out. I started my account. It was the Gentle Sheepdog because I wasn't vegan yet. I figured if I was being gentle to animals, sheepdog, I was going to protect the animals, but then, that wasn't really protecting all of the animals. So we decided once we went vegan, I changed my name from the Gentle Sheepdog to the Vegan Sheepdog. I'm going to defend my family. I'm going to defend my flock. I'm going to defend my herd. I'm going to defend all the animals that I can. And that's kind of why I picked the name Sheepdog.
Wow, I just love you. You're fantastic. Now, what do you do when you're not defending your herd or making some vegan Beyond Meat burgers, which we're making here with veggies? Absolutely fantastic. If you're just joining us, we're on Lunch Break Live with the vegan sheepdog former hunter turned vegan activist, making a delicious family style meal. Great name, says Jean. And also the amazing Lori Allen says, where is she? Lori Allen basically complimenting your grill, saying the Blackstone grill is great for veggies. And she's a Disney star. Very, very excited that Lori's watching. If you're watching, hi, Lori. She's also on our vegan cooking show, New Day, New Chef. So tell us about it, Vegan Sheepdog. What else are you adding? Show us right in the camera.
We're getting ready to go ahead and start adding the onions and zucchini as well as mushrooms. The best part about, when you have these grills, just throw it on. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I am not a chef. I'm not a cook. My wife is the cook in the family, but this is something that I can do all day long, no problem. And it's something that I enjoy doing for our family, as well as giving my wife a break because, being a stay-at-home mom, there is nothing more difficult than being a stay-at-home mom and having to feed our tribe all the time. So it's nice just to be able to throw stuff on here. I can throw my mushrooms, onions on, a little salt, pepper, a little more seasoning on everything, and keep things going. And then we'll put the Beyond Burgers on here in just a minute.
Wow. Now, again, how many kids do you have and how are they reacting to this vegan and healthy lifestyle?
So we have 7 kids total. We are a 7. So we are a Brady bunch. So we have hers, mine, and ours. So I had 4 daughters from my previous marriage. My wife had 2 boys, and we have a little boy together. I tell you what, these kids have been outstanding. They have really taken to this and understood things from a compassion standpoint. So for them, this has been a very easy transition. Unfortunately, where we live in a rural community. So lots of our kids, they go to school with lots of other kids that their parents work in some form of agriculture, some of which, unfortunately, is animal agriculture. So they had some adjustments telling their friends that, hey, look, I don't eat that anymore, or, you should try this. And they've done a really good job at encouraging their friends to try new things, encouraging some of their teachers to try new things. So it's been nice seeing them kind of wake up, make their own connection, and choose their own choice to do these things as well.
And how about people? What do you do when you're not being a fabulous dad and griddle master?
So I work in IT. I work for a clinical laboratory here just outside of Dayton, Ohio. So I help with our IT operations group. I help manage multiple locations where we provide all kinds of laboratory, blood, and hospital testing for patients.
Wow. And I don't want to get you in any kind of trouble, but are you having any impact on the lunch habits of your colleagues?
Yeah. So, for me, anytime you can share something with someone, you can plant that seed. And then over time, I've had people reach out to me, but hey, what are you having for lunch? Or, what are you having today? Or can I try that? Anytime we have any kind of carry-in, my wife will cook some things up and bring things in for everybody. So I've had multiple colleagues who have been very supportive. Some have actually gone vegan because of our journey. Lisa, one of my friends that works back in the lab, my buddy Chris that works in my department, everyone's trying new things. And unfortunately, not everyone is supportive, of course, as unfortunately we see that from time to time, but it is, it's unfortunate, but it is making an impact. And anytime you can speak up for animals, anytime, especially if you can sit down with someone and have a meal with them and really, break bread with someone, that's kind of when you can really break down those barriers and encourage people to try new things.
We are live with the vegan sheepdog former hunter turned vegan chef. He has 7 kids, and hold on, I want to get a tight shot of that. Those are the Beyond Meat burgers, and they look like they're frozen. So you're going to pop them in there?
Pop them right on frozen. So we can buy these at Sam's Club. And what's nice about that is, we can buy them in bulk when you're feeding 9 of us at one meal. Throw them on the grill frozen, and a few minutes we'll flip them, put some seasoning on them, and they'll be good to go.
And so one of the viewers wants to know, easy, delicious, cruelty-free cooking. Are all your kids vegan? I know you kind of mentioned that they've been very, very supportive. And well, how would you like to answer that?
So our 3 boys who are here almost all the time, they are all vegan. So our kids range from 20 to 5.
Wow.
So we have a big range. So unfortunately, the girl's biological mom, she is not on the same page, and she does not support their decision to eat that way. So unfortunately, when they go home, they are not vegan. When they're with us, they do. We have 2 of them that are absolutely, like, anytime they get a chance to eat plant-based, they do. So I know once they're out of that control, that will be a choice that they make.
Now, Boldy says, Chris is amazing. His account is one of my favorites. How can we follow you?
So you can check me out on Instagram and Facebook under The Vegan Sheepdog. That's primarily where most of my content goes out, especially Instagram. I do have TikTok and YouTube. I will say I don't get to those as often as the others, but definitely check me out on Instagram and Facebook at The Vegan Sheepdog.
I love it. And you cook?
I do, but usually stuff on the grill. My wife is the cook in the family, but I try to do what I can to help out, and this is something I enjoy. I can come out in the garage, turn the radio on, throw everything on the griddle, and give her a break.
Wow. Yes. I just think, and the answer is yes, these are Beyond Meat burgers. I love them. They say they're going to make them a little meatier. I think they're perfect the way they are. But you've chosen to do this at a great time when there's so many alternatives, Chris. There's no sacrifice involved. The vegan cheeses are amazing. I just had, I whipped open the barbecue and had a Beyond Meat burger with vegan cheese, and it was delicious. So I just did that yesterday.
There are so many options, and the same thing with like the milk products that are out there. If you don't like soy milk, try almond milk, try oat milk, try rice milk, try Oatly, try different brands. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to get people past the idea that it's got to come from an animal. There are so many awesome cheeses out there. Nyoko's, BioLife, those are some of our favorites. Dea, there are so many products out there. No doubt, if you are struggling finding a replacement, you just haven't found the right one yet, because this is something anyone can do. You can see the food here. I'm not missing out on a meal. I'm not going hungry. I could actually use to eat a little healthier.
Well, that looks really healthy. That looks really healthy. You've got, how many veggies do you have there?
So we've got 5 different veggies on here. So we've got potatoes, asparagus, mushrooms, onions, and zucchini on this side. And then we've got our Beyond Burgers in the middle. Asparagus is going as well. The asparagus is getting close to being done. And then what I usually do, I start putting this into a bowl. I start making sure I get all my potatoes off, mushrooms and onions as they cook down. And so our favorite thing to do with this kind of meal, to be honest with you, once these burgers are done, I'll put 2 Beyond Burgers in the bottom of my bowl, cut them up, cover it in veggies, and then put some Frank's Red Hot and some coconut aminos from Simple Truth.
Oh, yeah. These
are my favorite. Very good, very healthy, important for our diet. So it's not hard. If you can get someone
going vegan, get the coconut aminos or the Bragg's aminos. You put it on everything. The go-to is nutritional yeast. For me, garlic powder with parsley. I love that. You can get it at any of the big box stores. Liquid aminos, either Bragg or coconut liquid aminos. It's less salty than soy sauce, but it has that same saltiness. And those are some of the things, along with garlic and onions, that will spice your veggies up. And cumin, I happen to like too. Any other spices you're putting on there?
Not right. So I will also put on some. We have some. It's Gourmet burger. seasoning
Let's see, stick it right in the camera so we could see it.
from Weber's.
Okay. All right.
So, the funny part is it says burger. It doesn't, it doesn't say it can't be plant-based. So you can still use the same seasonings. You can still use the same flavors on things. It's really not hard and that big of a change once you, make that connection for the animals. And then you realize that, what, I don't want to support their suffering anymore. And this is the way I'm going to live my life for the rest of it. And I'm going to try to encourage as many people as I can to do the same.
You are extraordinary because, okay, you're a former hunter and your wife went vegan and then she called you up and said, I'm not eating anymore, honey, click. And then you went vegan, but now you are an activist and you're talking the talk and walking the walk. I mean, you're really spreading the word and you're the perfect person to spread the word because been there, done that. And you can speak to hunters and you can speak to people who, how did you find your voice?
It was just one of those things that I felt there was a responsibility to, with anything. It's my responsibility to speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. When you make that connection and you realize that animals have the ability to suffer, animals have the ability to stress, and they shouldn't be slaughtered for a meal. Once you make that, you want to do anything you can to encourage other people to start making that same connection and start changing their lifestyle. So obviously today we're talking about food, but veganism as a whole is a lot bigger than just food. Food is just the tip of the iceberg. And for me, it's the easiest gateway to have conversations with people is about food. Then you can start talking about animal exploitation, overbreeding, cosmetics, clothing. I mean, there's so many things that we can talk about, but food is the first thing that people generally talk about. It's usually the first thing that they think about. And without a doubt, for me personally, I think it's the easiest segue to get someone to start looking at things differently.
Wow. And of course, it's so great that the big box stores have the Beyond Meat burgers and Impossible burgers and all the vegan cheeses and all the plant-based milks. So how far away are we from seeing a finished product here?
I could probably be done here in just a couple minutes. I can throw a couple of these burgers in there, start throwing veggies in the bowl, and we should be good.
Now, you could do it on bread, but you could also just do it as a bowl. You're serving it as a bowl?
We serve it as a bowl. So what I usually do, I usually start with my asparagus because it's usually done first.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Is there any way we could see tighter, closer? What you got there? Okay. Oh, look at that asparagus. Yes. If you could give us a shot of each veggie before you throw them in the bowl, that would be super
we can do that. So what we like to do, we like to put all the veggies together, get all those flavors in there, especially when you're talking mushrooms and onions. Like that goes good with anything. So we'll start putting those in there. So usually next I start taking my potatoes as I get those ready.
Whoa, those look good. Yeah, yum. And those are raw. You didn't pre-cook them at all.
Nope, not at all. So the best thing with the potatoes, because they do take a little longer, is to quarter them up and so if you're using red potatoes, they're already pretty small. So if you're using red potatoes or purple potatoes, if you quarter them up, they seem to cook up quicker and better, and it works quite well. If you have larger potatoes, the smaller the size, the better off. So that way they cook up and are done almost in time. So then, my favorite out of all this is the onions and mushroom and zucchini.
Oh my gosh, that looks so good. I'm starving.
Well, I won't be much longer, I can tell you that.
That's quite a bowl you have there. When you said you were going to put it in a bowl, is that for you or is that for the whole gang?
This is for everybody, so I can mix up the veggies real good.
You mix them together?
Yep, absolutely. So I'll mix them all up. I'll get them all in a bowl, and then I'll put mine in a bowl.
And Gene, it's interesting how when one becomes vegan, one's awareness and sensitivity to all life forms becomes heightened. I think that's true. You do it for just maybe to please your girlfriend or your wife or for health reasons, and then all of a sudden things start changing, right?
Yeah, I mean, so to me, I've noticed not just for animals, but my view from a compassionate standpoint has spread to my human connections as well. I feel that I've done a much better job reaching out to individuals who need help on a regular basis versus, I don't know. Like, to me, I think when you eat death, when you eat dead animals and suffering, there's part of you that, as much as you want to be a good person, there's still part of you that is shut off and shut down because you're eating that negativity, you're eating that negative energy. So it's hard to, talk about peace and love and compassion and kindness if you're eating death and destructive animals on your plate. So now that I've got this bowl mixed up, I will take 2 of the Beyond Burgers. I will drop them.
Now, I want to see them before you put it in the bowl. Let me see. Those look good. And you cook them so fast, even though they started out frozen.
Yep, absolutely. So with this griddle, man, it makes it so easy to do that. And then all I need to do now is pile on as many veggies as I want. And the nice part about the veggies is the more veggies, the better.
Yes, of course.
It's not like you can go wrong with that. So I'll take this.
Wow, look at that. Oh my gosh, I wish I could dive through the camera.
Hot and steamy, and I will put on my Frank's Red Hot. You can, if that's not your thing, we absolutely love Frank's in our house. It's spicy, it's delicious, and you can put as little or as much as you want on that.
Wow, you like it spicy.
I do like it spicy. So that's something I always do. And then again, the coconut amino acids.
Yeah.
Which are just delicious. And the combination flavors between the two, between the Franks and the coconut aminos, is absolutely wonderful. And this is a meal that we'll eat a couple times a week. It's quick and easy. We can serve it to anybody, and everybody loves it.
Well, I think you deserve to have a bite. So dive in and tell us what it tastes like.
It might be a little hot. Absolutely delicious, though. Definitely one of our favorites. And, we depends on what veggies we put. Sometimes we'll have Brussels sprouts or cauliflower or broccoli. Just kind of depends on what we want to do here.
Yeah, everybody is saying they wish they could just grab this and eat it. It's so fantastic. The vegan sheepdog, absolutely fantastic. We had a couple of questions. Somebody wanted to know, how did you see a change in your health, your vitality, your energy level after you went plant-based, 100% vegan?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest things that I've noticed that's easy to get to anyone is that, so I wrestled all through high school and college. And so as a collegiate athlete, I was very hard on my body. And my right knee in particular, I had it scoped 4 times in college. And I felt that as I was getting older, my knees hurt all the time. But I had no idea that meat and dairy cause inflammation. I had no idea that when you're consuming that, your body reacts to it and causes inflammation. And the first thing I noticed when we cut out meat and dairy is that my knees stopped hurting. So as a guy who, I'm still active, we like to go hiking, we like to do things with the kids, ride bikes and swim and everything else. It's nice not to have that inflammation in my body. My knees, my joints don't hurt. And that was the very first thing that we noticed. At the time.
What about your mood? Like, there's been a lot of talk about how, what you put in your body affects your serotonin levels and your mood. And to me, when I eat really healthy and keep out the occasional vegan donut or, those things that I'll go for occasionally, but I'm really trying to eat the veggies, the kale, the quinoa, I feel psychologically and emotionally so much more uplifted, more upbeat, more positive. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. And I can tell a huge difference. So if I eat predominantly plant-based, I sleep better, I feel better, my mood, I feel, is more stable. I have a lot more energy, especially when you're focusing on a whole food plant-based approach. Unfortunately, there are lots of lots of vegan junk food out there. So I am one that tends to eat a little more of that than my wife. My wife's a little more whole food than I am. So I need to take some tips from her on some of that.
Well, you're doing really well today. This is a super healthy dish. And, Beyond Meat People say, well, it's processed. Well, it's pea protein and other good veggies mushed together.
Yeah.
It's not like, for example, processed meat has been determined by the World Health Organization to be officially cancer causing. So this is a great alternative. Chris, I just want to thank you for taking the time. You've been amazing. Everybody's like, come back, come back, come back. So last question. What kind of mushrooms did you use?
So those were just white mushrooms, nothing special. Sometimes we use portobello. In Ohio, we just left mushroom season, so morel mushrooms. Last 2 weeks ago, my dad and I were out. So my quick story, sorry. My dad and I, we had some pretty intense arguments after I went vegan and stopped hunting. Since then, my dad, who was skeptical about a lot of this, he is now probably 95% plant-based. He no longer has been out hunting, killing deer. But one of the things we do here in Ohio during the right season, there's about 3 weeks that we go mushroom hunting for morels. And 2 weeks ago, my dad and I were out, and I found probably 25 pounds of oyster mushrooms. So to find that in the woods and not have to pay for 25 pounds of oyster mushrooms was pretty awesome.
Well, listen, everybody is like, bring him back, bring him back. Would you be willing to do another dish sometime?
Absolutely. Let me know when.
You were fabulous. Thank you, Chris. And thank you to your whole family. You give me hope for this world. Rock on.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one. Bye.